Hey everyone, I'm Stacy Santiago and I am here with the amazing Clarissa. And she is here to share with us her journey from where she was in this place where she was absolutely stuck and lost and really in a place of pain, of not knowing what to do with her life and how to have that meaning and clarity going forward. And now into this awesome place that she will tell you about. So we are going to talk about her path today. And I hope that really helps you see what's possible, as I know it's always helpful when you get to hear somebody's story. So this is Clarissa, and Clarissa, if you'd like to just share a little bit about maybe you and how you came to work with me.
Okay, hi. So I came to work with you because I had been working in a job it had been over 10 years. Well, I had been within the same organization for over 10 years, had a couple of different jobs within that organization. And it had been a job that when I first started it was very fulfilling. I was working at a nonprofit. I was working with a great team and we were doing great work. We were helping kids, but I had reached a point and had been at that point for a really long time where I just felt stagnant. I was feeling bored with the work that I was doing, even though it was on the outside from other people looking in. So many people thought that it was a really rewarding and fulfilling job because I was helping kids. And what I felt internally though was that I had become very stagnant, that I had stopped growing, and that I was, although I was busy, I was bored, and I was going to work and I was doing task after task and going from task to task, just feeling like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. And so that became really wearing on me to be in a place where, because you spend so much time at work, right? I mean, a huge portion of our lives is at work. And I remember I started going on these, 10-minute walks throughout the day. And I was thinking, what am I doing? I am just wasting my time. Like, why am I allowing myself to spend so much of my time doing something that I'm not fulfilled in anymore? Why am I still here? And I felt like that for a really long time before taking action and before finding you. And so yeah, that's a little bit about where I was at when I first started and when I first met you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. And what was that pain that really got you to the point where something's got to change? I mean, what was really the worst part about it for you?
I had this fear that I would look back on my life with total regret, that I had wasted my life, wasted my time doing something that I knew was no longer for me, that I had missed out on really achieving my potential. That was the pain that I felt, was just this fear of looking back on my life and saying, wow, I really wasted my time there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what was that costing you in other areas of your life?
So one thing that really sticks out to me is more present. So not thinking about the future in the sense, but the thing that really sticks out to me that was costing me was I was feeling really inauthentic and not genuine. So, when you meet new people, one of the first questions that's always asked is, what do you do? What's your job? And I would share with them what it was that I was doing. And people would always say, oh, that must be so fulfilling for you. How rewarding. And it wasn't. It was no longer rewarding for me. And so that, I think, really affected my confidence, because I was feeling so inauthentic, because I didn't feel comfortable saying, oh no, actually it's not rewarding for me anymore. And so I would just kind of go along with it. And that didn't feel good, to be just not true to myself and not being that authentic person.
Mm-hmm.
I also felt like it kind of held me back from pursuing, more romantic relationships, even because I was feeling inauthentic and not confident in what it was that I was doing for such a big portion of my job, that I just kept thinking, okay, when I have that job that I can feel comfortable about, then I can, be more proactive in pursuing more romantic relationships. And, yeah, so I feel like those are the things that really stood out to me, is just that it affected my confidence and my feeling authentic. And it was almost like I was going back to the authenticity piece. I kind of felt like I was sort of living two different lives in a sense, and this is going to sound weird, but I had, probably about a year before really feeling bored and stagnant in my job, I had done a lot of just personal development, where I was prioritizing things that would help me grow personally. So in the mornings, I was reading things that were inspiring to me and that were motivating to me, and I was exercising, and I was eating healthy, and I was doing all of these things that really, really grew me as a person and filled my bucket. But I was going to work and I was not doing things that were growing me as a person or that were inspiring or exciting to me. And that just really was draining. And it felt like all of this work that I was doing in the morning was just, by the end of the day, it was no longer forward, because I was not being fulfilled during the day.
Yeah. And I remember talking about that, where it was like you were trying to fill up this bucket and you had these intents of coping in positive ways, but it was like the bucket had holes in it. And it was just, no matter what you tried to do, no matter what you slapped on it, articles you read, all that stuff, it just still didn't solve the problem for you.
Yeah, no. And I remember when you kind of reflected back what it was that I was articulating and sharing with you, and you were kind of summarizing. So is this, this is how you're feeling. And I completely resonated with that analogy. I felt like, yeah, that is exactly how I feel.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So what got you to the point where you said, you know what, I want to do something about this, and I'm not afraid of doing that work. I know now is the time where I've got to take some action.
I think I came to the realization that I had been thinking about it for so long, and that my situation hadn't changed just by thinking about it. I was ready to just take that step to actually do something, to make a change, and to take action. That's what I knew, that, okay, I could think and think and think about this forever. And what is that going to do for me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That same hamster wheel. Think about it. Maybe you don't even think about it anymore. What else has to happen? And yeah, it's getting to that point where you realize thinking about it doesn't serve you. It's only an excuse for not taking action. So awesome. So then you decided, okay, I'm ready to take the journey. And so what was that like for you to get into this work and take this journey?
So I had talked to you, and I was, on one hand, I was really excited about it. And then on the other hand, I remember thinking, what if it doesn't work for me? What if I invest my time and my money and it's just, it doesn't, I'm still stuck at the same job. That is definitely something that I thought about. And so I'm trying to remember exact the order of how everything went down, but I do remember having that fear and thinking, okay, I want to do this. And then I thought, well, maybe I'm going to put it off for a few months so I can save up more money and to get through the summer, because I have all of these plans this summer. And so I remember going to sleep one night, fully planning on saying, okay, Stacey, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to wait until November to do this. Or maybe, I don't know, I think it was November. And that was my plan. And then the next morning, I tend to think most clearly first thing in the morning. I started thinking about it and I thought, why put it off? If I start now, then in November, I could be at my dream job. And so I started figuring out how to get my financial situation in order so that I can really make it happen and figure out my plans for the summer so that I could really devote the time to it. And it all fell into place.
Yes. It's amazing once you're defiantly committed. And I remember too, is I had told you, maybe I spoke about this in the program in general, is that when you're defiantly committed, God and the universe open doors for you. And don't be surprised if you get checks in the mail. And you actually got a check in the mail, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, halfway through the program, I got a check in the mail. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. That's the magic of it, is commit. There's nothing to think about. It's do you want a life that you love and a career you're passionate about? Do you want to have your best life? It's simple when you put it in those terms. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So tell me about the outcomes then. What was the result for you for doing this work?
Okay. Well, I had several results. I think I went into it wanting clarity. I wanted clarity on what path to take, what career path was for me. And then I wanted the confidence to go after it. So those were the two things that I really went into the program wanting. And I did get exactly that. And I feel like I got more than that as well. So along the way, I really was able to define my value as a person so that I didn't have to spend so much time thinking about what other people might be thinking about me. That I could just really focus in on doing what I was drawn to without any worry about other people. So that's something that I gained. Definitely gained the clarity in what path to take. That is one thing that I worried about initially with getting a new job. Was I was concerned that I would get a new job and then I would be miserable, and that I would be in a place where I would think, man, I should have just stayed where I was at. That was at least better than this. So that's a fear that I had, but those fears went away because I was, through the program, able to really pin down what it is that absolutely need to be in my next career to be happy, and what questions to ask to be able, a potential employer, to be able to see if what I need and want in a career is going to align with the position that I was interviewing with. Mm-hmm. So that gave me a lot of confidence moving forward, because I had applied for jobs in the past where I had interviewed for jobs, but I felt really on the fence, and I couldn't really fully, I think, bring my true self, or like bring it my all, because I was really, again, on the fence and wasn't quite sure if that's what I wanted. So I didn't really give it my all. Mm-hmm. So that's definitely something that the program gave me, is just that real clarity and the ability to go after.
Yeah. And how amazing to align with this confidence, to be able to have this certainty that you are absolutely empowered to make the best decision. You don't have to worry about trial and error. You don't have to worry about, oh, I hope I don't jump from the pan into the fire. You know, and you can have that confidence walking in there to decide, do I want this or not?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly it. Gosh, and there were other things that I got out of it too, that I hadn't really thought about. So the ability to set boundaries and to, because throughout the program, that's something that I learned to do, was to set boundaries with other people and say, you know what, I really need to prioritize and really want to prioritize something else right now. So no, I'm going to say no to doing this, or to going out or whatever. And so that, has, to this day, I feel like I am so much better at setting boundaries and prioritizing those things that are most important to me.
Yeah, that's huge. And tell me about too your transition to what you decided was your best fit, and then tell me about how that played out, because we really created a timeline that was quite magical for you.
We did. Yes. So towards the end of the program, we talked about, you encouraged me to pick a date for when I would receive my dream job offer. And I think I was really excited to set it on one hand, and then on the other hand, I was like, well, what if it doesn't happen?
Mm-hmm.
But I picked a date. Like, I myself picked that date. And the date of October 15th was the date that came into my mind, and that felt good. And that initially it felt good. And then, there's often that in the back of my mind, oh, well, what about this? What about this? But I decided, no, I felt good about October 15th. I'm going to focus on October 15th. And so I circled it on my calendar, and I wrote, I will accept my dream job by this date. And then I had October 15th written around my home in another place that I knew that I would see it often. And then in the mornings, I would look at that and I would really imagine October 15th. I'm going to have my dream job by October. I'm going to have that offer by the 15th. And I continued to apply for positions that came along that were in line with what I wanted. I actually only applied for 4 positions. And mid-October was coming along, and I had an interview for, I'm trying to think the date. It was the Friday before October 15th. And I had an interview for a job. And I remember thinking, this is really close to my but I also thought, you know what, I can visualize it happening, and at the same time, I'm just gonna let happen whatever. I'm just gonna let be whatever will be, because I truly did believe in my heart of hearts that the perfect job would come along in time, in the right timing. And so I went to the interview, and then I asked them about their timeline and what they were expecting for, like, when they expected to make a decision. And they said that they wanted to make a decision as soon as possible, that they were going to be a little bit delayed because of Columbus Day. Their offices were closed on Columbus Day. And so October 15th came and went, but on October 16th, I got the offer. So one day delayed because of Columbus Day. I didn't quite get October 15th, but I was just one day off. And so I have now started at this job, and I'm a week into it. I love it. It's such a great fit for me. It meets all of I had 7 must-have criteria, every single one. It hits each one of those. And it's been a whirlwind at first, in that first week. I've had a lot of learning to do and met a ton of people, but it is, I'm just so excited to be there, and so grateful that I made the decision back in May to start then, so that by November I would be working at my job, that it would no longer be still stagnant and bored and just not living up to my potential.
Yes. And you got exactly what you wanted and more too, right? Because tell them
Yeah.
about the financial piece too.
Yeah. So that is something that is really exciting for me, because I went into this, it wasn't for me, the job wasn't about the money. I mean, I wanted, there was a baseline. I did have a minimum, but I was used to, I was working in the nonprofit field. I was able to live comfortably. But what's really cool is my paycheck is considerably more than before. And just going back to, one of the pieces that kind of held me back a little bit to jump into this program was the financial investment. But within 1 year, I will have made that investment back more than 4 times. And so that's really cool to me, that I will make that money back. And I can have a little bit more of a cushy lifestyle and save for retirement more so than I was able to before. And I have a much better retirement plan than I did at my last job.
Yeah. And I love that. That's so
Yeah.
huge to point out, because so many people think, I'm going to lose my financial stability. I'm going to have to start over. I'm going to have to take a pay cut. And it's just simply not true. In so many cases, you are paid more. And that you're exact proof of that. So that's something I want to tell all y'all listening. Don't believe that. You guys have thoughts in there embedded of, well, I can't earn more, or this will never pay, or I'll have to start over. False. It is false. Okay. And Clarissa didn't go from nonprofit into some, corporate job that, oh, now it spends her more. She's still in her same, space of helping and what she wants to do. I mean, it's different than what she did before, but she didn't just say, oh, well, I'm just going to go to corporate and that's where their money is. I mean, it's not that. She's doing exactly what she wants, and she gets paid a lot more for it. So that's huge, guys. It's huge. And making this distinction too is that there's a difference, and Clarissa, you can talk about this too, is there a difference between having faith and confidence in the timeline from the position of driving the car, of having the tools, of having the mindset, of having the clarity and saying, yes, it will come in time, but it's on a timeline I'm creating, versus sitting there kind of like fingers in your ears, eyes closed, la, 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 maybe a job will just fall in my lap, la, la, la. No, that doesn't work. Do you see that difference? Like, how would you speak to that from where you were before versus being able to take control of it?
Yeah. In fact, I think I might have mentioned to you when we first spoke that I was kind of hoping for that perfect job to just come along. And it had been years and it hadn't just come along. And so I really did, it was important for me to put the work into it, to really, like you said, be driving the car, to be figuring out, okay, what is it that I want? Because I was hoping for something to fall into my lap, but I really wasn't sure what I wanted to fall into my lap. Mm-hmm. And so if something had fallen into my lap, I don't know that I would have known to take it because I didn't have that clarity. And so this program really enabled me to get that clarity and to get the tools to be able to drive my own car and to, like you said, create the life that I wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. So as we're coming up to kind of summarize our conclusion here, 2 things. One, why, if you can just put it into maybe a sentence or 2, why was doing this work, why was it totally worth it for you?
Oh, to put it into a sentence or 2, you said? I don't know how to just, I'm going to try to keep it concise.
Sure.
This work was important to me because it helped me. It gave me that clarity. It gave me that confidence. It put me, or I put myself, I guess, really on the path towards getting that dream job, and to be in a place where I now feel like I don't have holes in my bucket anymore, that I can fill my bucket in the morning and I'll continue to fill it at work. And that's important. That I think is what's so important to me, is that I no longer have holes in my bucket. That sentence.
Yes, I love that. So it not only changes who you are and how you feel in your day-to-day experience, but it has changed the trajectory of your entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I love it. Okay, so words of wisdom or advice here. What do you want to tell people who are watching, who have been struggling in the same situation you were in, and who are thinking that it's time to take a stand for a change?
Just do it. Stop thinking and just do it. And I can understand where you're coming from. I understand the fears. I was there. I understand okay, I've just got to make sure this is done and this is done and this is done, and then maybe. But my biggest advice is to just take action. Stop thinking and take action, because it really, it's worth it. And that's what I've been telling all of my friends and my family and anybody who will listen, that I am so grateful that one, this breakthrough program showed up on my Facebook feed. And I'm so grateful that I took that action, and that I said yes and just jumped in. So
Yes.
Thank you, Stacey.
You're welcome. Yes, you're so welcome. And now you can say what so many of my clients say is just, this will pay me dividends for the rest of my life. It's already doing that.
Absolutely.
I love it. Awesome. Thank you so much, Clarissa, for sharing your story. You're such an inspiration, and I love giving you guys watching just evidence of what is possible for you. It is right here. You deserve it. Now is your time. And if you are in that place where you're ready to claim it, be that victor who moves forward, then hop on a call with me. Let's get clear on why you're stuck. Let's figure out, okay, Clarissa had holes in her buckets. Let's figure out what's going on for you. Why are you stuck? And what do you actually need to move forward? Let's get more clarity on what it is you want. I offer that, guys, as a free call. Just hop on, and I'm happy to listen and talk with you and help you get clear on that. So I will post that in any link that comes along with this video, so you can look for that, and just hop on my calendar, guys. It's super easy. All right, so we have so much love for you, and we are spreading the good, magical vibes of fulfillment and a life that is your best, one without regret. As you love it, you would just, we just can't say enough. It's just hard to put into words, but you deserve it, and it's right here for you. It's just taking that action, and you don't have to be alone anymore. So thank you so much, Clarissa, for joining us and sharing your story. And yes, we'll be seeing you going forward.
Great. Happy to. Thanks, Stacey.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.